Oh, no. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
We're doing a podcast.
No, I don't want to do it today. I'm so over the shit.
Look, come here and do the podcast.
Ooh. Are we live? Really?
We're actually
One
like,
more time.
you are live.
You know what you should do?
Oh, God.
I'm Gizz Lazo.
I'm just Paul.
Oh, we're back here with episode 38.
It's fucking Monday again. It keeps happening.
Yeah, every Monday. Another Manic Monday.
No. You know Prince wrote that, right?
Yeah, I do know that.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know something finally.
Watch
Kick back,
it.
Waldorf.
Watch it. Watch it today.
Did you just walk in here and fart? The dog just walked in and
That
farted.
was me.
Oh, you fucking.
I'm just kidding.
It's your breath.
Not your breath.
Oh,
All right. Well,
that's my whiskey.
we got some sad news today.
Yeah.
Paul Di'Anno, original singer for Iron Maiden, passed away.
Oh, no.
I was lucky enough to meet him in the early 2000s while I was on tour in Europe and England, and my friend was drumming for Battle Axe at the time, so he came to the show and we hung out backstage for a good 20 minutes and talked. And he's a really funny guy, man. You know, the history behind Iron Maiden. You know, when he was in the band, they were a punk rock band.
That I didn't know.
You listen to those first two albums, and
Your boyfriend's back.
it's punk rock. You know, when they got Bruce Dickinson, that's when they became a metal band. And let's see what else we got this Friday.
Yep.
Radioactive Chicken Heads
At
are
Licorice
playing
Pizza?
at Licorice Pizza in the Valley.
Is it in the Valley or is it Hollywood? I don't know.
know.
Studio City.
Studio City?
It's Studio City, yeah.
Okay. And then that's Friday, 25th.
Correct.
It's free. It's
Free is the best price
their
ever.
vinyl.
That was vinyl release party.
And we got a chance to see it.
We did. I licked every one of them.
I was gonna ask you how your week was, but I know how your weekend was.
Oh, the
Saturday,
weekend was awesome,
wow.
man. Went over to an old Italian friend's house. Had a little gabagool.
I got gabagooled.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, we were at Joey Ramici's house.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on a Mexican Gizzalo. Yeah, I hung out with
Um,
Joey, the cats from Jugheads.
Jughead was
I was
there.
surprised Colin wasn't there, but he's out playing, right?
Hmm.
Simone's?
Yeah, I don't think they're out playing, but I don't know. I don't know why you didn't show up. There was a lot of people. I mean, there was a funeral or a memorial that day
Yeah.
that I know a lot of people went to. So, one more item of news is that I got to keep saying every week. You know, people get mad at me, but November 8th, Foreclosure's new album,
Yes,
debut
yes.
album, comes out on Mind Power Records.
Yep.
It's called Cliffside Serenades, and I'm really proud of it, and can't wait. It's been 30 years, I think. You know, the last time I was actually on a vinyl record was with one of our guests.
Really?
Back in 1994.
And he still talks to you.
Yeah, he's right here right now. Look at him.
So also, you should do please hit the like button, subscribe to our channel,
And share it.
share the shit out of it, like all of it. I want to thank Transplants Brewing out in Palmdale, which we're hopefully going to be at now on the 21st of December.
Wow.
Because Chicken Heads are playing, and it's my fucking birthday.
They're playing up there?
Yeah.
Oh, we're going.
I was gonna get. I want to.
Saturday or Sunday.
I want to get an Airbnb with a pool and a jacuzzi. Right?
Steak
in a pool.
Yes. Oh.
I want to thank Headline Records for support. We got was it Riot Fact?
Right Manufacturing.
Riot Manufacturing.
Meow Meows in Pasadena.
Yeah, we got our co-producer Sean and Kribo here, and the rest you can go fuck yourself.
Yeah. Well, I'm done with what I had to say.
I'm done with everything.
So, all right, again, here we are, 38 weeks into our show.
Still not
And
rich.
Again, every week, man. It
gets better and better.
Yeah. And it's not necessarily that our guest gets any better. The stories are getting better.
I think our ability to ask better questions is happening. I think we're
Not
getting
you.
better. Well,
Yeah, it's the same damn question.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
How big is it? You don't answer the question. I'm going to keep asking it.
You know the answer.
No, fucking don't. How much does a pterodactyl weigh?
Oh.
It's in Annie.
But okay, this week we have two guests.
Yep.
I'm proud to say I was in the Electric Ferrets at one point.
Yep.
Well, actually twice I was in the band.
You guys let him back?
That was the last part of my notes.
Yeah.
I was in the band from 2004 to 2006, and then again from 2015 to 2016. And
So you played one New Year's Eve show in 2015?
no, we played a lot of shows. And Greg, he's the singer. I've known him for a very long time. Ike, the guitar player for the Ferrets, was also in the Bad Town Boys and Dead Lazo's place, and played shows with Dorita Sisters with me. And I met him in end of 1992, or no, end of 1993, and we went to Europe together. Huh?
Beginning of 93,
That's right.
so
We were there for your 30th birthday, which was that
31
year.
years ago, huh?
Ah.
Well, let's get him in the studio.
Yeah, let's get him in.
Come on in, gents. Oh, don't mind the fucking carpet.
Oh, you tried catching it. Whatever. It's a
Come on in. You just got to step over D Boone already. He's back. He's here.
Hey,
Good to see you. Good to see you.
what's up, Greg? Good to see you. Have a seat.
There we go. Good thing one of
Watch out
us
for the
is skinny.
spilled beer.
Sorry, it's James's.
At least I got a beer. At least I got my
everything else.
All right. Well, thank you guys for coming in.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Cool to be here. This is kind of a first, I think, for me. Haven't really done this podcasting thing before.
Well, at least you got it right.
Yeah.
I go, what is that?
Hey, this is a good place to start because we suck.
A PCAS? What is it? What is it? Yeah, you're not very technically savvy, are you? I've known you for
That's
31
mean.
years, and you've never had a cell phone.
I still don't have a cell phone.
You lucky bastard.
We've joked.
Peanut gallery.
Yeah.
We've joked so many times in the Bad Town Boys that we were going to get him a cell phone, but instead of like the push button, we're going to have, hopefully we can get an app.
Oh my
where it had
God.
the dial.
I would get him a cell phone and give his number to everybody but him.
He wouldn't have to know his number. What is he going to call himself? Yeah, dumbass.
Well, he's got to call voice.
I text his girlfriend so she can tell him to call me.
That's
Really?
That's how I get
That's
hold of him.
awesome.
Wow.
We got Dr. Analog over here.
I've never been on that tier.
Oh,
She don't want to hear from
I've
me.
never had a girlfriend that long.
But so going back again, like 1993 is when we met.
Yep.
I met you when I saw the Ferrets at Raji's,
Mhm.
when we kind of were going out there and looking for somebody to play guitar for us. What, the beer? Yeah, okay.
You just got to.
Too much shit going on.
And that was just about at the time we were winding down also.
Yeah,
We were,
it was.
we were really heading toward ending the band at that time.
Mhm.
And you kept going because of Gizz?
No,
I
actually.
kept going because of this.
I just kind of skipped ahead and moved forward a little bit. We all kind of took a break from the Ferrets at around that time. The Ferrets started in LA at what, 88?
Yeah. By
Right,
But
the,
you guys are
88.
originally from like Newcastle. Was it?
Yeah,
Is
Newcastle,
it Akron, Ohio? Is that where you guys went to college?
No, Penn State.
Penn
This is
State.
where Greg went to college.
Which is not in Ohio.
and Ike went to Slippery Rock.
Literally Penn State.
I get pissed when people
I've
call
been-
Ohio the Midwest. I'm like,
I've been to
almost
the
a
pen.
shoreline.
That's about it.
That's what she said.
So you guys met in Newcastle.
We met, yeah, and we went to. I was telling the story earlier.
Yeah.
Ike, whose real name is Mark.
So weird.
You outed him.
I have a story about that.
We're,
one.
we're revealing
Gave it
right
away
here.
right off
But-
the start.
But
I
to
was
tell
trying to
this-
go incognito.
I can tell he's never done a podcast either.
to tell this story, I have to call Mark. So the very first day of first grade on the playground, I met Mark and another guy called Russ Menser. The very first day. We weren't in the same class, but 6 weeks later, I got changed from my classroom into the same classroom as Mark. And then from that time on through 12th grade, we were always in the same home room. But in the middle of second grade, my family moved and we moved next door to Mark. And so then we grew up together. Later on, after I had went to Penn State and was doing my own thing and Mark was going to Slippery Rock, I think it was my brother Dan had given him the nickname of Flying Ike. And there was more to it than that. It was a
And the supersonic.
It wasn't.
Ike's like, shut up.
Reptilian people.
There was a whole Space Invaders kind of story
It was
involved
like
with it. Yeah.
Flying Ike and the Electric Eggplant Psychedelic Circus or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
Something crazy like that. And he just got nicknamed the Flying Ike for how fast he would play the guitar back then. And it just got shortened to Ike, and everyone knows him as Ike. I have a difficult time calling him Mark anymore.
Dude, when Lazo's was together, we played, I think it was at Al's bar, and he had a friend there, and she said, all right, Mark, we're going to leave now. And everybody in the band was like, oh, no way, she got his name wrong. And he goes, no, that's my name, Mark. I'm all, I thought it was Ike. No, that's my nickname. He's been in the band for like 10 years at that point. Like, Mark? Really?
That was it. I moved to California and I was going to be Ike.
And you were. I mean,
Still are.
Everybody you met here knows you as Ike. And shit, we were 10 years in and we didn't even know your name was Mark.
I'm going to
I
tell you.
never we went to Europe a bunch of times. Went to Canada a bunch of times. Throughout the U.S. We always had our
You
passport.
didn't look at a passport?
No, why am I
Nothing,
going to look at his passport? What do I need?
nothing gets by Gizz.
Well, we on any Ferret records, he always gets to credit Mark Flying Ike Robison.
Yeah.
So that
So the family knows.
so it's,
I'm actually really a rock star, I promise. I'm
Yeah.
not rich, but I'm still a rock star.
Well, in Bad Town Boys, he was just credited as Ike Robison. First, the Epidemic record, which was I was talking about, 1994, that album came out. That was the last vinyl I was ever on. Everything after that was CD.
Yeah.
That's it. It's just CDs. But
Well, how'd you cash the checks if they're not your right name?
What check?
very true.
We never got any checks.
Very true. But on that Epidemic record, I was credited as Gizz Navarro because
Checks.
it was Mario,
You had
our
to write
manager,
some.
said he wanted to separate Gizz Lazo as a singer, Gizz Navarro as a drummer. And then after that, I was like, I don't want to do that anymore.
Yeah.
After that, everything I've ever done has been under Gizz Lazo. I should never have said my last name. Now everybody's gonna think I'm Dave Navarro. I mean, come on.
Oh, yeah, you
I
look
kinda
just
look like
fucking. Well, you going to beat up by Peter?
I like
Farrell
cats.
Also?
Van D.
You can let Perry Farrell push you around?
Hell no. Hell no.
I don't know if you guys saw that whole happening. That was spectacular. So how did you guys come up with the Electric Ferrets as a name?
Was it the Electric Ferrets and the Supersonic blah 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 blah
Yeah.
blah blah blah? And then you just got short down the Electric Ferrets?
let's see how short I can make this story.
Oh, no,
Oh,
it's fine.
God.
Run with it.
So the Electric Ferrets started in the fall of 1983 at Penn State. Me and a couple other good friends, we lived together in a house, a guy by the name of Henry Vogel and a girl by the name of Sharon Gavlik. We were just bored, and we were living in this communal house at Penn State, and it had an attic. And we decided one day that we were just going to go up in the attic and make a whole bunch of noise. Henry could barely play bass. He had a little bass and a fuzz pedal. And we went up and put a drum set together using a wash basin and bowling pins and an iron skillet and some knives and stuff like that for like percussion. And we'd use like vacuum sweepers. We'd throw bowling balls through televisions, anything where we could like make noise. The name Electric Ferrets came about because there was another woman who lived in the house who had a pet ferret. And the ferret was like very interested and unique. And I could tell you lots of stories about the ferrets, but just for fun, we would go up in the attic and just jam. And we called ourselves the Electric Ferrets. And we would always just play a cover song because there's no way you could recognize the music because nobody could play. There was a bunch of crazy noise, but you would recognize the song because it was such a familiar song. Like the first thing we covered was You Really Got Me. Then Train Kept a Rolling, then Wild Thing, then Louie Louie. So you would name the songs, and we would record them on a little tune box back then. And what really surprised us is afterwards, when we went and listened to what we had recorded, the noise we made, it actually sounded like music in some way. It had a beginning
in some way.
In some way, it had a beginning and a middle and an end, and that kind of like taught me something about creating, about like just music and just kind of about creating. And it was kind of an industrial type of a
Industrial
jam
noise,
type of
very
thing.
early industrial noise.
Yeah,
Yeah.
kind of and kind of deconstructing,
Yeah.
music down to like the most basic elements and stuff like that. All that stuff has never been released. It's all on tapes. It did travel around, and I could tell lots of stories. But how Ike got involved, because we were good friends, and he was going to Slippery Rock. He didn't go to Penn State, but I'd invite him to come down to like some of the parties we would have at our house.
He didn't go to Penn State.
They can't afford it.
No, that's
It's a
just
slippery
him.
sock.
But we invited him down to some parties we'd have, so he'd come and hang out and also see some like the local Penn State bands and stuff like that. But he came down and got involved in a couple of jams, and I think he could tell you what that was like. So that was his introduce of being an Electric Ferret in those days when it was an industrial band. Fast forward to that, when I left Penn State, I kind of wanted to start a real band and moved to Los Angeles because I had a lot of friends living here. They had moved out here from Penn State because they were film majors and they came out here to work in the film industry. And I kind of convinced Ike, come on out, let's start a band. But for real, let's start where people could play, because he could actually play. But he can tell you maybe a little bit of a story. I know he has a good story of what that was like what his idea was like to come down and jam with us, and then what happened, and kind of, it was kind of a, I don't know, mind-blowing experience.
I do want to preface,
mind-changing experience.
Have you ever thought about recreating that whole situation of turning into a music video?
Because
now at this age,
all right.
with
that being said, if anybody out there wants to see what that Electric Ferrets was like, you can go on YouTube, type in Electric Ferrets Wild Thing. There was actually a documentary done of the band back then during those days. And we had added a couple extra members by the time. It started out with 3 of us. Then we invited a guy to come in and play 4-string electric guitar because there was 2 strings missing. So we just kept it 4-string. And another guy came in to do some percussion and other stuff like that. But if you want to see what that industrial kind of band looked like, you can look up YouTube Wild Thing. There's a 5-6 minute documentary that was done by a friend of mine back then. And then there's another film, The Electric Ferrets, Addams Family, where we jammed to the Addams Family theme. And then there's another longer film where it's called The Electric Ferrets Louie Louie, where we do a video to our version of Louie Louie. And that's where you could actually see Ike playing in that video.
Oh, this is happening.
Yeah, so he came down. So if you dig up Electric Ferrets Louie Louie, you'll find an early Penn State jam where Ike had been invited down to come to the party, and we just said, "Here."
And he was.
And I didn't know what the hell was going on.
Here.
Mike, why is your dick out?
We gave him a guitar, and he's expected to play, so you could pick it up from there.
Yeah, it was very interesting. I had no idea. I mean, Greg kind of told me that they were doing music, but I was thinking, I got a bar band, I got a cover band, must be something. Final warning. Final warning. Yeah. First band ever. But anyway, I knew how to play, and I got down to Penn State to go jam with these guys, and
realize these guys don't know how to play. They know how to break shit.
It was just very obvious that they were just, making noise. And I was like, man, we did Louie Louie. It was the one jam that I got involved with down there with them. And I'm going, no, man. It goes, ba-na-na, ba-na, ba-na-na. And they're like, oh, fuck, throw that out the window. That's not good here. We don't want anything that sounds
in the key of H.
Yeah. We got it.
Play a Q sharp.
Yeah. It's like just detune your strings or something, don't make it sound in key or anything, because we want it to sound like a certain thing, and I had no idea what we were going for back then.
We used to call it the Electric Ferrets, the sound of things falling apart.
Huh.
And even to a degree now, even though we are kind of a formal band, we always kind of like to have a few songs where it just sounds like things are still falling apart.
Which is weird because, I was a fan of you guys before I met you, because the Bad Town Boys got me into you guys. I was, honored enough to be in the band where I think a little bit of structure and the tightness was starting to come in. Then you get Todd, who's a story of himself, and Dawn, and 2 phenomenal musicians. compiled them with you, and you guys got this band that like they can play. You guys are like 4 players.
Yeah.
Like not like you can fuck up and make it sound like music because there's talent in that band.
Yeah, that's kind of where we're at now, and it's been
Your drummers did get better. I gotta say.
Yes.
We had a good drummer for a while. Though. We were a
But
really good drummer. I always liked playing with Gizz. Gizz is the first guy I ever played with in LA that actually was like made me go, wow, there's people in LA that can play music, can play drums, because we had a couple of drummers in Electric Ferrets. Cool guys, fit the bill, did the job, Fly Trapper, if you're out there watching, he was kind of our first one. And then we got Rudy, he was kind of our surfy guy.
Fly Trapper?
And Fly Trapper.
I was expecting to say Fly Trapper John.
His real name is Robert Wright, but he got the nickname Fly Trapper because he had a mohawk, and one time there was a fly stuck on top of his mohawk. So he got the nickname Fly Trapper.
He had so much hairspray, and it was like a Shell No Pest strip.
Oh my god! So back in '83 when the Ferrets started, obviously you guys are a little bit younger.
Yeah. So when we did start the LA band. So when we did start the LA band, the spirit of the attic, the noise and the things falling apart was kind of still like very, very much alive. And we thought we'd come out here and be like very energetic. I was still like pretty crazy, just like running all over the stage, jumping up and down, beating up Ike, ripping off his shirt, jumping on people. And
okay, hold on. I remember the first time I saw you guys at Raji's when me and the Bad Town Boys we went up there to go see you guys because we were like, okay, there's this guy Ike. I think he would fit the bill. We need a guitar player. And you're beating the shit out of him on stage. And I was like, I don't know if I want him in the band. Like, he's not even sticking up for himself.
I think I was.
And that guy's a lot smaller. Like, come on.
And
he needed a massage.
And we kind of thought LA, would really be kind of receptive to our form of punk rock, which was like just crazy and fun, and they didn't know what to do with us. So they didn't know what to make of us. They would just stand there and watch us like, who are those weird guys?
I mean, you guys came around the same time as the Milkman, like the Dead Milkman.
Yeah,
like, did you guys ever cross paths?
No.
What's the biggest band you guys played with at that point?
We played a few shows with Offspring. We played a show at Raji's with.
Did we play with Pennywise?
We played with Pennywise. I think we played with Pennywise as well.
Yeah.
We played with Tool once.
What?
Yeah.
Who's Tool?
Tool, Tool.
Right there, that's a cool.
We've played before with Jeff Dahl Group. We've played with
Jeff Dahl.
Lazy Cowgirls.
I love those guys.
Played with the Creamers. The whole like late '80s, '90s punk scene. We played with all of those guys. We were with that's the scene we were a part of.
Yeah.
In fact, Jeff Dahl actually produced our first EP on Dionysus Records.
Now, did you guys find like a massive difference between musicians and art in between Pennsylvania and LA? What was that kind of there's got to be a slash line in there, you know what I mean?
I don't know about that. What I think what was most surprising to me is where we come from. There's a real specific type of humor, a sense of humor that we had. And when we came out here, we like to use that sense of humor in our music and, with the Ferrets and the writing of our songs, and people didn't get it.
I still don't.
It's been on there. Like, so I got this morning, Billy was listening to Mogwai, and I'm like, nope, it's not Mogwai day. Like, I have a lot of work to do. I need some energy. And so I put on you guys on Spotify, and it's just like, he's like, who is this? I'm like, it's Electric Ferrets, our guest tonight. He's like, this is pretty good. I'm like, it's fucking really good. And looking through Gary Gilmore's eyes is just such a great fucking cover and such a great song. And I mean, you guys really like put that down. I was like, this is fantastic. And Billy goes, can we listen to it again? I'm like, yes, Billy is my shop mate, by the way.
and that's like, as we were saying earlier, we've kind of grown. We started out not as coherent as we could be, always biting off a little more than we could chew, trying to do more in the studio than we should have, recording more songs when we should have recorded less and tried to make them better. But we were just trying to economize, get more for our, more
bang for your buck
and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so we kind of failed, in those sort of like ways, but like learned from that. And so that original band ended in 93. I think the LA band went from about 88 to 93. And then we wanted to do it again, and we picked it up in the 2000s with you.
Yeah, 2004.
We had done a couple other side projects on our own. You know, we had done like a spiritual album, and we had done a Christmas album that just went out to friends and family members. And those were like really well done and had really good drumming on it. But then when we got together with you in the mid 2000s and did that No Regrets CD, and we were playing shows for a while, that was the first time I felt that we really had things under control. You know, we really had a good band. We were doing like some phenomenal stuff because you drum really well. And we had Adam Lara on bass, who could play bass, like, you know, really well.
Right.
And now
we came from
Ike,
the Bats Americans.
right. And then sometimes we had a rhythm, get a second guitarist, and sometimes we didn't. George sometimes played with us and sometimes didn't.
Todd, if I'm
Right.
not mistaken, I invited him to the show.
Oh, I'll tell this story. I'll tell this story.
Get after it, buddy.
So this
Check
was
us
the mid 2000s, and I'm really enjoying this version of the Electric Ferrets. We're doing punk originals, and we're doing like psych and garage covers. And Gizz at this time wants to bring a second guitarist in the band, and Ike by this time doesn't want a second guitarist. He likes being the only guitarist, and he likes being the only guitarist now.
Yeah.
And I like that way too. We all like it that way. But Gizz kept saying, well, I know this guy Todd, you know, he's really good. He's really good. You know, give him a try. And I kept saying, no, just I don't really want to, you know, and I don't think Ike wants to. So we play this show, and this guy shows up.
Amp,
And his
guitar.
name is Todd, with his amp and his guitar and everything. And Gizz kind of just like pulls this on us. Todd's here and he's going to play with us. I'm like, what? We've never practiced with Todd. And Gizz's like, no, he's really great. I gave him a copy of the set. He has a copy of all the recordings. He's learned the recordings on his own. So, you know, he'd like to play the show with us tonight. And I'm just like, oh man, that is a recipe for disaster.
Dick
right?
move,
right?
Gizz.
Right. You're like, Gizz, why are you doing this to us, man?
You're not even an original member.
Right. We get up on stage. It doesn't take half a song, and I'm already like, Todd turns out to be amazing. He knew all the songs and was fantastic and really brought something extra to the band.
And is still in the band
at that time. And he's still in the band now.
And he's the bass player.
Yeah.
He's
So,
the bass
like,
player.
How long did it take you to like go?
Yeah.
I'm happy with this guy being here.
I was cool
before.
with it. I knew Todd, you know, from before. We met earlier.
He was
played,
in front of the band.
yeah,
Yeah.
he played in Dead Lazo's place back in like 2000 when I was playing with them, and he came over and filled in for bass for a little while when we were going through some personnel changes. So I knew Todd, and you know, seeing him show up at the show, I was kind of like, okay, well, whatever. But you know, it worked out, and since it worked out, I was like, oh, okay, I can do this. You know, this is fine. You know, we can actually maybe have some cool two guitar interplay.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Type
that
of
like kind of
things,
free you
yeah.
up to like just explore a little bit more.
Yeah. So it worked out, and then when we decided to regroup again, because we took a break after that 2004 2006 era, we took a break, and then we came back, and
In 15.
we wanted to make a new record, and Greg had some ideas, and we thought, well, you know, let's flesh them out a little bit. And so we called Gizz and said, you know, come on over. And the whole plan was it was just going to be the three of us, and we were going to just work out some stuff, and I was going to record everything, and Gizz was going to do the drums, and Gizz was like, oh, nah.
Well,
We need a bass player.
yeah,
I know the
yeah.
perfect guy. I'm going to bring Todd in again.
He was one guy. That's what it really comes down to.
And it was great because Todd came over and it
because he
filled it
plays
out.
bass like a lead guitar player.
Yeah.
Todd, you know, so Todd was
He
asked.
remembers the songs.
Yeah.
So this is where we're at now, around 2015, 2016. I had been listening to some really old recordings of us, and I'm like, wow, some of these songs are pretty good, and we never developed them. And I had this idea for doing a double album where one side was going to be surf music, one side was going to be garage music, one side was going to be punk music, and one side was going to be like psychedelic music.
Yeah.
But it further evolved into that. It stayed a double album and still turned into sort of a concept album, but it kind of turned into like, well, let's write a song like let's write an introduction song like the Beatles intro to Sgt. Pepper, and
Right.
let's write this type of a song. Let's do so it became like almost a genre album. Let's like approach each song as a different type of genre, and we asked Gizz to come in and join us, and so we got started on his project, and then Gizz broke his wrist and went out of production. He just couldn't play in the band anymore for a long time, and so we started working with Don McCurdy,
who I offered up to.
Right.
Here you go. He's better than me.
And that's where the band is at now. And we asked Todd to play bass, but the first practice we had, again, with this version of the Electric Ferrets, the one that is current right now, the one that Gizz was in but is not in now, like I said, the Don's playing.
So is there a restraining order?
There was.
There will be after tonight.
It's been lifted. But again, Todd came in, to play bass, and I didn't know Todd, could play bass. I mean, almost all guitar players can play bass.
That's 100% true.
Bass, but are you actually a bass player?
Correct.
So Todd comes in, and just like that story, like from 10 years before when he came in and played guitar and he blew our mind, he comes in and played bass, and he's like all over the place, like someone like John Entwistle or something like. He's playing like it's very melodic, it's beautiful at times.
That is high. That is high
it's
praise.
beautiful at times. I'm like, Todd.
Sometimes.
I'm like, Todd, what is going on? You're an amazing bass player. And he's like, well, that's my first bass. Yeah, I actually took bass lessons. I'm like, what? And you didn't mention that?
Thanks.
And
He doesn't talk much.
We've got right now probably two like one of the best bass players, in like the underground, community, and one of the best drummers. And we're so lucky to have them. And I don't know why we have them. I don't know why they. Yeah.
No. Don't give him any fucking credit. His ego's big enough.
I don't know why they continue to play with us, because they're so good that they could probably be professional. I mean,
It's attitude.
It is professional. I'm like, you guys have a double album that's right here. There's a double album right here. You guys have a double album. That's pretty professional in my opinion.
And it comes with a comic book.
As a comic book,
Real
or some of
artwork.
the
Real artwork.
there's
There's a
some
painting.
actual real artwork over
yeah,
here.
bring over the full painting.
Cribbook it.
And this was done by who?
Let me see.
Jeremy Eaton.
Watch out for Bobo.
This is our current release. It's on Get Hip Records out of Pittsburgh, PA. It's a label that's been around for at least like 30 years. Double album called The Electric Ferrets, psychedelic punk rock band. The cover is done by Jeremy Eaton. Used to be a comic book artist, and now he's an independent artist, like up in Seattle. Just takes commissions, has his own studio and stuff like that.
It's sick.
It's a long story to tell how I know like Jeremy and stuff like that. But Jeremy's a great guy, a great artist, and he did this and the back cover. And there's also the inside opens up and it's a double, and there's fold out art in the inside.
It is absolutely stunning.
Different
By
color
the way.
model as well, right?
Yeah, one record is purple and one record is green. There's a comic book inside. It like tells a story, and there's a little poster, inside. So what we really tried to do with this record is, I mean, my whole idea was like I kind of wanted to make a present for people. Like this is going to be like a double album, kind of like in the way double albums used to be. You could listen to one side, enjoy it. You could listen to two sides and enjoy it. You could listen to three sides, or you could listen to all four sides. Each side,
Kiss Alive too.
yeah. each side tells a story, or the whole album, tells a story.
Right.
You take it like that, and so
I think that's actually been lost in modern music. We were actually talking about that with Scott from It's Almost Famous magazine.
Which comes out tomorrow.
Which comes out tomorrow. Look at It's Almost Famous magazine. We'll get to that in a minute. Anyways, everybody's buying like, oh, I like that song. They buy the song. I really think there's a real personal experience of listening to an album. You know what I mean? There is a story to it. There is an idea behind it. It's a conceptual thing. It's what real true art is. Like from start to finish. If you listen to every fourth song on the White Album, it's going to be like, okay, great, Beatles, whatever. But if you listen to the White Album from start to finish, there's a thing going on there. Paul's not dead. There's a walrus. It's a great story if you've never heard
it. and that's what we tried to do with this record. The old school like that, tell a whole story.
It's gorgeous.
People could understand. But
Is there anybody can listen to that online for money?
Yeah.
Can you listen to that album online?
No, it's not. It's only available in the
Online?
record format right now. You
Okay.
know, you could just type in Electric Ferrets, get hip, records. It'll come up. You can go into Discogs and put Electric Ferrets, and our whole catalog of whatever released, will come up there.
Is there a reason you guys don't want to go digital?
He's a Westerberg fan.
I
He's
don't know
smarter
how
than
to.
It was supposed to. It was supposed to have a digital download link, but didn't happen. So only 500 copies was pressed. So I recommend there's
still like 499. I guess.
Yeah, no,
I got one.
Oh, 498.
I think a significant amount of them have actually sold, because I won't say how much, but I got a nice royalty check.
$17. Ike, could you get paid?
I never heard about that.
How'd you catch that check, Ike?
Give him this 3/4, dude. Jeez.
We laugh about if we ever monetize, I can't wait to split our 30 cents in 3 ways. How long have you guys been millionaires?
Yeah, for forever. I tell you what. I played in cover bands in Pennsylvania since I was like 18.
Since the 30s.
Yeah, back in the 30s. About 18, 19, we started playing in cover bands, and I played up until I was like 24 years old when I moved out here. And I tell you, in those few years that I played in cover bands, I made way more money.
Yeah.
Way more money
Still like that today.
than playing in LA.
Mm-hmm.
Way more money.
Okay, that was something we talked about with Scott as well. It's like, don't go steal music, people. These guys work their asses off to put it out there.
Yeah.
Buy the fucking record.
Yeah. Nobody wants to buy it. Everybody wants to just listen or trade it or share it or.
If you want to have a big overview of the album on YouTube, there's the Electric Ferrets psychedelic punk rock band promo.
Perfect.
So we put a promo video together that's just a little over 5 minutes, where the whole album is boiled down to 5 minutes. Every song has a little piece of it, shows a little little image of the album, and so you can kind of get an idea of what the whole album is like just by watching that promo.
I'm gonna smoke a fatty and just listen to the whole goddamn thing.
How long did it take you guys to create the whole thing from start to finish? Like the concept to getting it out?
64 years.
Probably close to 4 years. Because you started thinking about it around 2015, put a band back together around 2016, started writing songs, started pulling out some of the old songs that we hadn't ever recorded and reshaping them, for this album, and then practicing. And then we got behind schedule because of Gizz breaking his wrist, and then happened to bring in the new drummer Don, and then recording it and mixing it and stuff. So yeah, the whole thing took probably close to about 4 years.
So chuckle out of Ike. There's a story there. There's some kind of story.
Oh, Ike was comfortably retired, and he probably got a phone call one day, and I was all excited and said, Ike, I got this idea. I need you. And
I bet you I know what his comment was.
And I and I do recall him and his girlfriend Donnell came over to my condo like one night, and I wanted to play him a few
the condos that the Ferrets pay for.
Yeah. I wanted to play him a few old tracks. I said, "Here, listen to these old tracks that are just like practice jams we did." Or so I said, some of these things I said would look like, I think
There's potential.
Yeah, they have potential for ideas there. And I think Ike understands that. Donnell was probably like,
Nope.
You think that can be a song? And Ike was probably like, oh yeah, I get it.
So obviously,
he's used to me hearing something really small and obscure, and me saying, I think there's a whole song there.
So yeah, there you go. So where do you kind of pull your inspiration from? Obviously, you've got 4 different sides of 2 albums, and your inspirations are probably way wide ranging. Give me kind of an overview of what that looks like.
I can say what his is and also what mine is. My probably biggest inspirations for writing music, not necessarily listening, but writing music and what inspires Ferret music is probably 70s punk, 60s garage and psychedelia, and just 60s pop music.
Mm-hmm.
Then then classic rock, classic hard rock, and Kiss.
Fucking Kiss again.
This has been bugging me for fucking weeks now. There is a song that we did in the Ferrets that I cannot remember, but it was you sold it to me when you were like, there's this 60s garage song that I want to do. And you played it for me, and I was just like, holy crap. This is the very first punk rock song.
Is it Bad Girl by the Zachary Thax?
Yes!
Oh, man.
Zachary
That's a
Thax.
deep.
When we've had conversations, I have always told you, I go, there's
song.
Greg from the Ferrets introduced me to this song, this band, and this is the very first punk rock song. Like, dude,
that is a subject that will be debated till the end of fucking time.
But what was weird when you let me listen to that song, you go, I think we should play this song live, and I was like, the hell, I'm gonna play that song
Because they had a
Those
really hard drum
drums.
part on it. Yeah.
Yeah, and he wasn't that good at the time.
I'm still not that good.
You're a good drummer. Shut up.
But that song really it inspired me. Like, I had to learn the song, and then you can't fake that song. The way that drummer played it,
Right.
you have to play it that way.
It's
It
got
was like
time changes in it.
Yeah,
and stuff,
that really were really weird. For
And we
me.
ended up nailing it. We had that small set of garage stuff we played.
Mhm.
I'm Not Like Everybody Else. And
Zachary Thax, Bad Girl.
Bad Girl. Yeah. Texas band.
But playing with you guys really playing with Bad Town Boys, for 30 years that we've been in the band still. And it was like everything's, skate punk, or newer stuff is a little different, but it still has that same, concept and theme and flavor. But with you guys, I mean, I was actually, when I broke my wrist, I was actually a little relieved because I don't think
You felt
there's
challenged.
no way that this album would sound as amazing as it does with me. Like Don, really, I mean, I've always said it. He's an amazing drummer.
Yeah.
He has that rock and roll feel. Doesn't have to be a punk rock drummer. Doesn't have to be a metal drummer. He always would sell himself as a mix of Phil Rudd and Dave Lombardo.
Oh, those are
He's
some
Soul
names.
Slayer.
So everybody out there who knows the old Electric Ferrets, are you hearing this? We're an amazing band now. Incredible rhythm section. Incredible rhythm
Hey,
section.
you're not throwing freaking bowling balls through TVs.
No,
I
no.
like that idea.
So come out and see us now.
Yeah.
You'll be surprised.
They'll be at the UBG
we're not
next week.
we're not the Electric Ferrets you remember. And I'd like to give a shout out. One other big influence to me is the Shenango High School band, the Blue Dots.
Oh,
So I can now speak of what his musical influences are. I think they're probably going to be very similar.
well, I mean, I wasn't even saying just musical. I'm saying obviously
Just
you're
whatever.
like comics and
Yeah.
just fantasy and
Yeah.
just look at the album cover, seeing all the characters.
Right.
There's a Magoo character on there.
Yeah, Mr. Magoo's on
It's
there.
fucking amazing, man.
The whole this album in particular was supposed to be kind of like a pop culture experience kind of thing. We're trying to draw from our childhood, our adulthood, all at the same time. And try to mix our influences back then with current influences. And it doesn't, like you say, not necessarily musical, but cartoons. We were very much. We grew up kind of comic book freaks when we were kids, and
I gotta ask, was there a lot of acid involved in the early days?
That was one of my next questions.
If it's psychedelic, I mean,
Weed, mushroom, acid, benzodrine.
psychedelic is a term for colorful music.
Yeah, I mean, you've been there.
All right, this is a cartoon question. What is the name of Tom Slick's car?
Oh,
Ooh, stumpified, bitches.
Oh, I don't
Yeah.
know.
You don't even know.
The Thunderbolt Grease Slapper.
Grease slapper.
The Thunderbolt Grease Slapper.
You asked what color, not the name.
I said, what was the name of Tom Slick's car? I didn't ask
Yeah.
about a color.
No, I didn't hear color. I didn't know the name. I didn't. It was Tom
You guys remember
Slick.
the Hanna-Barbera Wacky Races?
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
that
Oh,
was
yeah.
that's
Yeah.
Cereal and Sunday Morning and your
Yeah.
jammies
Tom
kind
Slick.
of.
I didn't know. I watched Tom Slick. Did we?
He was on Wacky Races.
no, Tom Slick was a separate cartoon. It was
But
a-
wasn't that
He was-
from Tom Hatton?
I don't.
He would
Oh,
play
and the
him on
Popeye
Sundays?
squiggles and whatnot. This has even gotten funner now.
Yeah, but we weren't out here.
Oh,
We didn't
okay.
live out here when we were kids.
We
Yeah,
need,
well,
we
Tom-
need to get back to Ike.
I don't know
Oh, yeah,
what kind
back to
of
Ike.
stuff you were watching back then.
If you guys don't
Okay.
notice this, Ike has dimples, by the way. He's a
He
handsome
does,
devil.
He's a handsome devil. I have stories about Ike. Like the very first time I ever met Ike, obviously was at Raji's when he was playing with you guys, and then a couple weeks later he came to the Bad Town Boy studio we were doing in Burbank, and it was the first time I ever jammed with him. And Harlan was still in the band. Harlan had this huge Marshall amp, and he started the first song, so he would, you know, flink a flink a flink 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 a flink 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 flink, and I remember when I first joined the band, I was like, that's not the Bad Town Boy sound. He comes in with a little Fender Twin. He's looking around the studio and he's, oh, there's a chair, puts the chair down, you know, leans the amp back, you know, pulls out his Strat.
Yeah,
And-
start the thing.
And I was just like, I don't know how this is going to work. Like, I think that Marshall is going to overpower him. He comes, plugs in and he goes, yo, well, you know, let me just do the intro. And so I know where I am, you know, kind of thing. And he's all, I was like, oh, yep, this is where I'm at. Yeah, all right, yeah, this is what I want. We went to Europe. And, well, actually, that first night, I don't know if you want me to tell the story, but right after rehearsal,
Keep it clean.
he was in. Like he got the same response I did when I joined the band. Like the brothers looked at each other and they're like, "That's what we need." So afterwards, like, well, I guess we're going to Europe. We should maybe get to know each other. I got a van out there, and he's like, "Do you smoke weed?" Yeah, I smoke weed. So we jumped in the van. We were there for like 2 hours.
I was gonna say
And
weeks.
He had this pipe that was made out of wood. It looked like a grenade. It had
Made it in wood shop.
yeah. And we smoked weed for 2 hours, and we were just like, dude, you're gonna be my roomie for tour. You know, we're gonna
I love you.
and you know, it's just we're the new guys. And you know, we were 6 weeks over there. First 3 weeks, nobody gave a shit about Ike and I. Nobody cared. You know, they're like, oh, all the interviews are about them. By week 3, 4, all of a sudden, they're like, oh, we want to interview those guys, you know. And it was me and Ike sitting there. I'm kind of a ham, so I kind of took over. But you know, it was weird that like very quick we were accepted. And in Europe in the early 90s, new guys were not accepted.
You were hard guns.
Yeah. Oh, where's Tim? You know, I kept getting, where's Tim? What about Tim?
I killed him.
And it's funny because maybe a few months ago when we were doing the rehearsals, I heard
Hey Ray.
I heard the original story. No, I can't tell that story.
Yeah, you can.
I heard that Tim broke his arm. That's why he couldn't do the tour. But I finally got the actual story. I may have been told by Tim, but I don't remember because I was drinking a lot back in '92.
I mean, like right now.
Yeah. But I mean, Ike and I had so much fun. Just, you know, our first time in Europe. His birthday, April 16th.
Mhm.
We were playing the KOB
KOB.
in Berlin, and at midnight I had my watch and I had a little alarm on it, and about 11:55 my alarm went on. We were in the middle of a song, and as soon as we finished the song, I just kind of stopped. We're supposed to go into another song, and then I kind of got up off the drums. I kind of stretching, and then the guys in the band like, "What the fuck? What's going on?" So I got off the drums and went up to Greg's microphone, and I go, "Hey, it's Ike's birthday. He just turned 30. Let's sing happy birthday." We sang happy
That's
birthday.
Greg
All of a
of the Bad
sudden,
Town Boys.
there
Yeah.
were 500 people or more. Just sprayed his ass with beer.
Oh, that's fantastic. I thought it was like a bukkake thing, but I'm good at that too.
Yeah, no, that was afterwards.
And then, well, after the show, the guys from Disaster Area were there. Remember?
Oh yeah.
And they made
Yeah.
this fire sambula.
Fire symbol.
Oh, dude, which is
Yeah.
it's a German drink. It's,
Wine and rum and sugar cones
Yeah.
melted all together.
And there's fire involved.
And I remember the first
Fire,
one.
Fire.
And they're like, okay, 2 cups and that's enough. Dude, I had so much to drink that night, but that was his 30th birthday. I remember that, and every year, like after that, you know, I would call him on his birthday, and I go, "Well, I would always leave it a message. His girlfriend can hear, hey, we'll always have Berlin."
Oh.
And
And she loves that.
there was Well, there was a couple years, like at the beginning. Well, what happened in Berlin?
No one's ever gonna know.
It's a long story, but there was a lot of this.
Was something like my nose blood?
Yeah, it was always bleeding that year.
Oh, I wonder why.
No,
Yeah.
the
The heat lamps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, we always had these hot lights right on my head.
Oh yeah, it dries you out.
Dude, my nose would always, one of the nicknames I got was Drum Demon because the blood
Splashing.
was just on dripping on my snare drum, and every time I hit it, would just splash my face. And Ox Fanzine, there was a picture and it's Drum Demon, and I was like, yeah, I finally made it.
So Greg,
Didn't have my name on it. It's just
listening
Drum
to the
Demon.
Ferrets, your vocal style, I was like, oh my god, okay, that sounds like the Beach Boys. That sounds like the Ramones. There was a little Buzzcocks moment. Did you know you have a really close relation to No Means No?
No.
There's some No Means No. I don't know if you know the band very well, but there is some No Means No, and I'm like, this is really fucking interesting. Like, it's not a common style. I mean, is that
It's
intentional or?
my style's kind of changed over the years.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it started because of the industrial band back in the attic at Penn State was just like screaming kind of at the top of my lungs, just, and then I tried to adapt that style, still like yelling and screaming, and got more melodic.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. I just do what I do. There's always been kind of a lot of like reverb or
Jello.
trilliness.
Yeah,
of it.
there's definitely some Dead
vibrato.
Kennedys in there.
Yeah, I used to get compared to Jello Biafra a lot.
Yeah, I
And
can see that.
I didn't hear that myself because you hear yourself differently in your own head
Yeah,
than other
absolutely.
people's hear you. You don't know.
You ain't lying.
But it's true. No, you don't know what you sound like.
Yeah.
The voices
You
in
know,
my head sound way
to-
different.
to others. But we used to get compared a lot so that I sound like Jello Biafra. And actually, when we played a couple San Francisco shows, Berkeley shows, Jello had come to a couple of our shows.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he had actually came to our show. And this is our first record on Dionysus Records right here. This is the one produced by Jeff Dahl. But in an early show up there in Berkeley, Jello Biafra showed up, and he had that 45 stuck in the back
No shit.
of his pants.
Really?
Yeah, he came and was like walking around. The 45 was in the back of his pants.
Oh, that must
And
have
then he-
smelled great.
Compliment.
He brought it so we would autograph it.
Oh, that's
Really?
fucking
That's
fantastic,
fucking cool.
dude.
Since we just mentioned it, let's just throw this up.
Do
here
it.
too. This is our second Dionysus 45.
I mean, I have a paint pen. This is happening.
yeah.
Is that fly swatter on the back?
Yeah, no, that's
That's
Rudy.
Rudy.
Oh, that's Rudy.
The back cover has a really cool picture of Rudy Wagner, who is our drummer for this record. Rudy used to practice playing his drums, and that's a record player there. Drop a 45 and play with it, drop another 45 and play with it.
Oh, that's
That's the
fantastic.
back cover. Of
So this is like really like it started out really as like art rock. You guys did like
Yeah, so since we're on the subject,
Yeah, let's go to
let's
art.
pull up this final piece. This is the first CD we did and was released in 1993 on Dionysus Records.
Wow.
It's a record called Ferretzilla. This is one where we really bit off a lot more than we could chew. We have more songs. We recorded more songs than we should have. So, it didn't turn out as good as it should.
Ike's a good chewer.
Yeah. But I know some
I'll
people
bite
think
it.
it's a pretty good. Still think it's a pretty good record.
It's fantastic.
Right, that was painted by the original electric ferret from the attic, Henry Vogel, the guy who, me and Sharon Gavlik just went up the attic first time I started the band. But that was done by Henry, who still remains very involved in the band in outside ways.
He took the photographs for the two singles.
Yeah, he
Oh,
did the
wow.
photographs for the two singles, and he did the interior, like the poster for the new double. The posters inside, he did that.
It's
Nice.
gorgeous, by the way. I mean, it really is
He didn't do the
striking.
artwork, but he did. He
Right.
still did that poster. Jeremy Eaton did all the artwork for that, but again, he was still involved.
So
He did the cover for the No Regrets album also.
Right.
The
He
No
did
Regrets
No
is
Regrets
fantastic,
CD
yeah.
too,
Yeah.
Which we,
That's
did,
where you
which we
get
haven't even
Moore's
talked about.
eyes.
We did release a CD in the mid 2000s with Gizz on drums called No Regrets. It has mostly originals, as a cover of Gary Gilmore's
Gilmore's
the adverts on
eyes.
there, and it has the second single as a bonus track just added on there
Yeah.
also.
So I got a question for Ike. Is what's your rig now? What's your setup? Like, what do you play through?
Right now I have a Marshall head. I'm so like non-techie that I can't even tell you what kind of model it is or anything.
JCM 900 probably. No cell phone.
Ian knows
Can't-
nothing about it.
It's on the front.
It
It'll
sounds
say
good.
JC.
It says Marshall on it.
I
I'm
gotta tell
pretty
you,
sure.
if you go to his house, nothing but candles. There's not even a light switch in the fucking house.
He's got whale oil lamps in the
Yeah.
bedroom.
I'm way old school.
What kind of guitar do you play?
You hear that? I'm whale.
Whale. Oh, he said way old school, but I like whale school better.
Whale school.
So what kind of guitar do you
Sorry
play?
about my ex-wife.
Last
Oh.
of the Luddites.
Definitely.
I'm actually thinking about like converting.
Yeah.
Like, I would like to
Becoming a
disappear.
Luddite.
I like to disappear into the forest, like
Yeah.
eat weird shit. Like
So you got your amp. What kind of guitar?
Well, I used to have a JCM 800. That I do remember.
ta-da.
One of the cooler versions. Actually bought that rig, the cabinet and everything off of Doug from the Lazy Cowgirls. It used to be his old amp. But I still have the cabinet, still use the cabinet. It's like a mid 70s Marshall. And I've,
Does it say
upgraded.
Marsh still?
It says Marsh.
Yeah, it's a marsh.
It's a Marsh. Not even a Marsha.
Oh, dude, there is a guitar player who has that.
Oh yeah.
Marsha.
Yeah.
It's a guitar player for Psychotic Youth. Axis.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
his-
yeah.
his-
Well,
his
hey,
Marsha-
Axis,
Marsha-
if you're
Marsha.
listening or not listening, you dickhead.
Yeah.
Guitar.
Yeah. So, I played a lot of things over the years. I used the Fender Strat to record a lot of the records that I played on.
And Lazo used a Gibson L6.
I had a Gibson L6 that I used for a while. It's on a few of the recordings as well.
Gizz knows something.
Some of the other albums I have.
The Schecter.
There's a Schecter on there. I had a Schecter for a while. Right now, I'm using a Guild. It's a SG that is totally redone by one of our friends from Pennsylvania, Del Haig. He totally rebuilt this guitar. It has all custom frets, custom tuners, custom pickups, custom bridge, custom knobs.
Well, look at
custom-
you all fucking fancy and
I
shit.
know.
Is that the one that says Ferret?
As it says Ferret on it.
With
Right?
Oh.
Is that the logo that I made for you?
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah,
rip
It's
off
the
the
Fender
the Fender logo.
Fa- That's fantastic.
It's
You
actually
should
a,
make that as a
it's
statement.
actually a Guild, but that's my one of choice right now. It sounds great.
This just since you started talking about equipment, it's something I'm just thinking of. I forgot to mention. So the double album that we spoke about so much, that album was recorded using almost exclusively vintage guitars, vintage amps,
That's awesome.
no digital effects.
That's
Yay!
Every
Straight
effect
through a mic?
every effect was created by using an amp or a combination of sounds or an actual old,
Gain up,
actual
pinky on
old,
like your volume.
actual old reverb unit. No digital pedals were used. All real old school.
Are you hearing this, children? Fucking, you can do that.
Yes, I'm hearing that.
So look, we still had to record the album through Pro Tools, but the whole album was mixed analog.
Fuck yeah!
On-
3/4 inch tape.
Well, when do you hear what this album was mixed on? It was mixed on a board that was owned by Peter Frampton.
No.
Yes, Jeb Lipson recorded this at Big Scary Tree Studios, and the board he owns was purchased from Peter Frampton. It's Peter Frampton's old board.
Wow.
So
Fuck
the Electric
yeah.
Ferret psychedelic punk rock double album,
I do.
it was
Alright,
recorded
so-
on Peter Frampton's board, and it's all analog except for the actual Pro Tools recording. But everything is analog, no digital effects, all effects created in amps.
Buy that
or
album. We
bios.
just increased the price of the album 37%. Buy the
I
album.
can up you one. The Laszlo record we recorded, Lonely Street,
Why?
had no heroin.
That's
right.
good.
And it says it on the record.
Recorded
Made a point.
without heroin.
Made a
But
point.
you know what? We've done a significant amount of recordings since then that haven't been released yet. That we're in the process of that, but never again.
Heroin?
Never again.
Heroin or analog?
You did it.
Analog. It was so
Oh,
much,
daunting
it was,
task.
It was so much work. It
Yeah.
was so much work. It took so much time and took so much time to mix it analog. Not being able to recall, go back and recall, every time doing it all over
All over
again for
again.
the first time. It's I'm so glad we did it. It's just got a certain sound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got that album has a sound you
Mhm.
can't. It's warm. It sounds like
So it's like fuck the
I wanted
Beatles,
to-
the Who, the high
right.
numbers.
I was striving to make it sound like a 70s, kind of recording mostly. And I think we did it. You know, so much did the bass player and the
It's
drummer
my favorite album I'm not on.
thinks they should be louder.
It's my favorite album you're not on too. All right, so final question because we're getting towards the end of our time. However, this is gonna go to Greg first. If you could be on stage with any band, dead or alive, like your dream moment, either singing, playing drum, whatever you want to do, like just pretend you're the best in the world at it. What would you like? Where would you go?
Could I say one or could I say three?
You can say three, dead or alive.
Okay. I would love to play with the Seeds, the Music Machine, and the Chocolate Watch Band.
Fuck yeah. Ike.
That would be the three.
Yeah.
That's probably the most like, yes, I know which band we've ever had.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I'm on it.
He knew that.
That's fucking awesome.
He was primed. He's
Well,
psychic.
I always wanted to be the second guitar player in Pink Floyd.
Oh.
Oh yeah, that's one of our hugest influences, actually the Barrett era Floyd and all of Floyd. But yes,
David Gilmour, big influence for me as well. Sid Barrett also, but David Gilmour.
If you listen to our song on a double called "Force to the Green," you'll hear Ike ripping up David Gilmour in the beginning.
Oh, that's fantastic.
It's okay. It's an influence. Not really.
Right.
We didn't rip anybody off.
Tribute.
Well, you ripped off Gizz because he hasn't gotten a royalty check yet.
Continue. Always
You got more?
interrupting.
That's it.
That's it.
Oh, so back in the Lazo years when Ike was with us, I think we were in Florida, and somebody asked, oh, your name's Ike, or what does that mean? And Jeff, our drummer, goes, it means I know everything.
That's a shirt, dude. I mean, come on.
You mention a song to Ike, and that guy can play it.
Flying, I know everything.
We tried. We had a little contest that we did on the road because we were on the road so long that it was like, oh yeah, let's stump Ike. Hey, what about this song? And he'd play it. Like, damn,
Ike,
dude.
you gotta get by a Cessna, and it said like flying Ike, flying, I know everything.
Flying, I know everything.
Yeah.
But we could go hours and hours and hours because most of the stories that I have, I mean, are so dear to my heart because 31 years we've been playing together.
Yeah.
And 30 years, well, I think 20 some odd years in Lazo. So some of the best shows we've ever done. I remember the very first show you played with us was at the Blue Saloon, and you were doing the solo for Dirty Little Secret, and he just put his hand up and just did it all with his fingers, never strung.
You cheeky bastard.
And the four of us in the band were just like, what? The way
Not something I did in practice.
No.
At home in the bathroom by yourself.
Something I knew I could do.
The way he joined the band was when Bad Town Boys and Dead Lazo's place, we shared a studio in Van Nuys at Silver Spoon.
Yeah.
And
Pepe's
Wooden Spoon Factory. And Ike would come in on, because he lived in Redondo at the time.
I lived in Redondo then, yeah.
He would drive up and on your motorcycle or your car, your Scirocco, and
Volkswagen Scirocco
on his days off from Bad Town, and he would just hang out. And he would bring an 18-pack of Budweiser just to hang out with us
on his motorcycle with his amp and his guitar.
We had a riser that had a couch on it next to the fridge, and he would be sitting up on that couch, and he'd have a few beers, a few bong hits, and all of a sudden he would jump up and he would sing backup vocals with me. And when we lost our guitar player, it was just like everyone were like, so who are we going to get? And everyone just looked at each other. Ike, he's been here long enough. He
lives here.
Yeah,
he's living in the basement.
We didn't actually know, but Ike was living under the riser.
And we asked him, and he was like, "Oh, dude, I know all your songs already. I've been here for fucking months, just hanging out with you guys." And the first rehearsal we had, we were just like, "Yeah, this works. It works better." And any band this guy's in, it's going to be better. But
cheers, bro.
Cream,
just
cream.
I mean, maybe.
Yeah, 31 years.
I'll jam with Eric.
31 years we've known each other.
So you guys got any upcoming shows? Obviously, we've got a double album release, which go online and fucking buy. Increase the price by 37%. Because Ike needs to pay his rent. And he has to figure out how to cash the check.
He needs to get some royalties.
Yeah,
Do you have an ATM card?
I'm digital, man.
do you have an email address?
I bet you the
email.
only tattoo he has is his PIN number.
Now it's your phone number. But it's on his butt in case he gets arrested.
We could go really to town with numbers tattooed. So let's stop.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
I think actually, speaking of tattoos, I've been in so many bands with everybody's tattoo. I don't have any tattoos.
Not yet.
Greg doesn't have any tattoos. I
No.
think this band is 4 guys that no ink.
Wow.
Kind of strange.
Okay, next
No
album's
way.
called No Ink.
No ink. Yeah.
We won.
I just joined a band last Sunday, a new band,
Yeah.
and everybody in the band has tattoos.
Yeah.
It's the first time I've ever been in a band where everybody has tattoos.
That's not true. Some lords all have tattoos.
Huh?
Who doesn't?
I'm talking a real band.
Oh,
Jesus.
damn.
All right. So you guys have any upcoming shows?
We're playing a backyard party. This coming
Yeah.
up this like Saturday.
Excited.
Fucking, you know how
I'm
awesome it'd be
excited.
to go to a backyard party. I remember backyard parties. We would watch the houses around the backyard to see if we could see the cop lights in them in the windows.
Yeah.
And so we jump the fences before the cops showed up.
Yeah.
I would still try.
We're all
It wouldn't
taking
go
bets
well.
to see how many songs we can play before the cops show up.
I have one more story about Ike. We played it at Characters in Pomona, and we're getting like, okay, it's almost showtime, man. Where's Ike? Like,
Oh.
well, somebody. Never mind. Well, what do you mean? Somebody call him? Yeah, that ain't happening, man.
No cell phone.
That ain't happening. I did call your home phone. Is Ike at home? Is he on his way? Never got a call back.
Well, if you didn't live in Pomona, it wouldn't be very
But
helpful.
We started the set. We're like 1 or 2 songs in, and I see Ike's car pull up in front of, because it played in the patio.
Yeah,
of
it
the
was
bar.
outside. Yeah.
So I saw his car pass by, window rolled down, and he just goes, and I was like, "That's like, dude, he'll be here in about 5 minutes." I'm on the mic, okay, yeah, blah 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 blah. And, the other guys, man, let's go, dude. Let's
And then
go.
did you see a cop like drive by the lights on?
He was just like, "Oh, you guys are playing later."
The guy at the club wouldn't even let me in. I pulled up. I said, "The band I'm in is playing right now. I could hear them." And he goes, "You'll never set up in time. They're going to be off in like 10 or 15 minutes anyway." I go, "Oh, it's okay. I can set up like in a flash." And he's like, "Oh, don't worry about it." And I'm like, "Okay, fine." Let's see, guys. I didn't even go in and watch the show or anything.
Dude, I don't think we saw you for a week after that. I'm like, did he quit?
Yeah, he cashed a check, dude. He went to Mexico.
I drove all the way to Pomona and I just turned around and went home.
Oh my god, dude. But that was funny. We laughed about it afterwards because we got drunk, Last laugh.
Yeah, well,
All right, guys. Ginger or Marianne?
Marianne.
I'm not answering that question.
I'm a ginger man all day long. She's experienced. She knows what she's doing.
Yeah, I don't know.
That
She's a
question
movie
is
star.
That question is
Yeah.
That question is asked too many times.
That's a loaded
All the time.
question.
Oh, yeah, you're
Actually,
married.
It's cliche.
Mrs. Howell.
Ginger married
Cheers.
Louise.
All right.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you,
Cheers
guys.
to the album. Cheers to the art.
Thank
You
you,
guys
guys.
are fantastic.
All right.
Thank
So
you, guys.
next Wednesday, we have a guest. You know this guy.
Wednesday?
Or next Monday.
Fucking seriously?
I'm drunk. All right.
All
Next
right,
Monday,
Alzheimer's.
Next Monday we have a guest, and he's coming remote from Texas. Arnulfo is
Arnulfo.
is our guest next week. Who we know from Corpus Christi. He's like the mayor of punk rock in Corpus Christi. This
Oh,
guy's
Corpus, Jesus.
And
He
it
God.
shows-
owns South Padre Island.
I do have to say that the tortillas in Corpus are fucking amazing.
Oh,
as
he
shit.
his parents and
He
him
needs to send us some
own
fucking tortillas.
a restaurant, and it is
Arnulfo,
authentic Mexican food.
send us tortillas.
So he's our guest next week. Once again, thank you.
Yeah,
both
thanks you guys for driving in all the way from over there.
Yeah, from
I really appreciate it.
what
Appreciate
is,
all the merch.
Hollywood Hills. That's where your house is.
No, I live close.
He's in Malibu.
I live close to the Burbank Airport.
He's in
Oh,
Malibu.
listen to that.
It's the Malibu side of the Burbank Airport. Ike's in Santa Monica. He's got a beach house because all those royalties. It's a beach
You live in
condo.
Woodland Hills.
Yeah.
It's a beach condo, but it's a big fucking beach
He
condo.
built his own beach.
Yeah.
Well, maybe your lady.
I had so many comments I had to just stop saying. I'm like, on the bones of children.
But we thank you guys once again, man. I
Pleasure being here. It's fun.
Buy the album.
We'll do it again
You
soon.
guys are all good people.
So, all right. Once again, thank you for joining us. You know
Subscribe,
what you should do?
like. You should probably
Share,
thank your fucking people.
share. You know, thank you to Transplants, to Headline, to Riot Manufacturing, and to Meow Meows. Yeah, you know what you should do? Come back next Monday and watch us. And I'm your host, Gizz Laszlo.
I'm just Paul. Watch during the week too, 3 or 4 times a week.
Electric Ferrets, everybody.
MC Ferret, Flying Ike Robison,
Thank you.
Woo!
Mark.
Ike Mark.
We done? We out of here?
No, he's gonna fuck with us.